All right, where are we here? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's National Pet Obesity Awareness Day. Here is a sign your dog is fat. Your dog is Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. That's a good sign. Hey, who's that? Jesse Peyton's in the studio right now.
What's up, Kenny?
What is up, my brother? Happy National Pet Obesity Awareness Day, Jesse. What are you?
I love it. I was celebrating on the way here. I ate a pig in a blanket.
I had one too.
And then I ate a pastry.
In Texas, it's called a kolache. Why? It's a pig in a blanket.
That is. That's what we called it.
Why can't we, it's obviously not a kolache. A kolache is something else. Why do we do that? Why do we have to change everything?
I don't know, man. We're sensitive.
Jesse Peyton is probably one of the biggest comics in Texas at the moment. He's been blowing up big time over the last couple of years, several years. Quite the career, but how did it all start, Jesse? What made you start doing stand-up comedy?
Man, I was hilarious, and I was too handsome for radio, Kenny, so we just skipped right over that, went right on stage.
Well, we have that in common, I feel like.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, but we are, you and I are in Waco this Saturday, which is why you're here right now.
At the Hippodrome Theater, doing our favorite show, Couples Therapy, where you and I, who are clearly the beacon of stability for relationship influence and expertise and advice.
Absolutely, yes. Take dating advice from two middle-aged men who can't seem to get their own relationships right. If anybody does want tickets, you go to Jesse's website, jesseisfunny.com, and you go down here to tour dates, click that, and then Seabrook, you missed that. That happened already. Tyler, when were you in Tyler?
Tyler, I'm there tomorrow at Rose City Comedy Club. So if you're in Tyler, Rose City Comedy Club, we're doing couples therapy also. No Kenny Webster because he has to do radio.
Yeah, that's true. I can't miss a radio show for to tell penis jokes, but I will be in Waco with you on Saturday night, and that's going to be dope. That's at the Hippodrome Theater, so that's how you get your tickets there. And not for nothing here, Jesse, but I have noticed lately in the world of love and romance, all is not well. Out in the, as a matter of fact, I was looking at this story. A woman just got married in England, and I got married. Did you give a speech at your wedding? Was that a thing that you did?
I did not. I don't. No, I didn't.
I don't think I gave a speech at my wedding either. Other people gave speeches. Right. Talk about killing the vibe. Here's a woman who just got married, and she's a brunette. For those listening on the radio, if you want me to just paint a picture here for you. And she's, looks like a very nice wedding hall, whatever this reception, banquet hall that they've rented out. And her husband is sitting just to the left of her, surrounded by the wedding party. All their family's there. This guy wore a fedora. Clearly nobody told him. You can't wear a fedora unless you're a bass player in a jazz band.
I agree.
Or an investigative reporter. Otherwise,
he does look like the guy you'd put your napkin over your drink if you went to the restaurant.
100%. Yeah, I wouldn't want that guy.
Definitely.
But male or female. Although
either one. I'm not, yeah. I'm like, you're not going to mess up another ginger ale of mine, Brian.
Yeah, Brian, stay away from my drink. Anyway, so here's the bride-to-be giving her wedding speech.
Alongside their demonization of trans people, our government and media is currently also complicit in a genocide. And I know some of you may think a wedding is not the time to think of this, but it frankly would not sit right with me to not take this opportunity when I have a platform to speak on this issue. Everyone should be able to have a day like today, and I don't mean with all this sort of thing. I mean a day surrounded by loved ones who wholeheartedly support us and our relationship with no judgment. We are in a relationship that is simultaneously celebrated by random strangers who find out we're engaged, but also is so mainstream that no one bats an eyelid if we were to walk down the street hand in hand. We are not ostracized by society for simply being who we are and loving who we love. Everyone should get to feel how that feels. Transgender people are being punished for simply being who they are, and we must speak up. We are losing hard-fought ground, and we simply cannot yield to hatred.
Things, Kenny, and I got to get this off my chest. One, she called her wedding her platform, and bro, that's not it. Number two, how are you going to use your wedding day to talk about trans genocide? And she's already got a Justin Bieber haircut, and then all of his grooms are like, bro, she used to be a dude, right? That's why she did this. Like, if you weren't going to tell us you were banging a tranny, like, why not? Why have her do it on your wedding day?
All right, what's the third thing?
I forgot.
I guess that was all three. It doesn't matter. Here's my immediate takeaway, because I want to watch a little bit more of this. First of all, the husband does not look thrilled. For those of you watching this, listening on the radio, you don't see what we're looking at. This is his poor guy. He thinks that he's outkicked his coverage with this woman. What he does not realize is, while she may be a little more attractive than you, most guys are not going to want to put up with this. This is at your wedding. At your wedding, we're going to get a lecture on trans. And by the way, do you know why she's mad? Do you know what just happened in the UK?
No.
they made a rule that trainees can't play in sports. That's the thing over there. And then the bathrooms.
Oh, you mean men?
Right.
You mean men?
Yeah, men can't play
in women's sports.
England went ahead and they were like, all right, let's look, no trainee kids. England, and I think that's a moderate stance. I don't think that's conservative, but that's what she's talking about. We can't have 9-year-olds getting their junk lobbed, no genital mutilation for prepubescent kids.
So what people on the radio don't realize is she's wearing her wedding dress and wedding attire in front of a bouquet of flowers while giving this speech, which is really awkward. My question is, was this post vows and I do? Because if that's the question and I'm in the audience, I'm going to be like, hey, priest, when you asked us if anyone objects, I'd like to revisit that question and tell you, yeah, I don't want my homeboy stuck with this lunatic forever.
Yeah.
Because you think he's going to get to play fantasy football ever with his buddies?
Fantasy soccer? Do they have that?
Yeah, fantasy Taliban.
Fantasy rugby, I guess. Now, I know what you're thinking. In the middle of this lecture about trannies at a wedding, wouldn't it be great if she could talk about Israel?
Alongside their demonization of trans people, our government and media is currently also complicit in a genocide. And I know some of you may think a wedding is not the time to think of this, but it frankly would not sit right with me to not take this opportunity when I have a platform to speak on this issue. The ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people is a horror that cannot be ignored. We cannot succumb to hatred. We have to email our MPs, we have to speak up, or we will be lost, all of us. All this love has to be good for something beyond our immediate surroundings. And
all right, pause it again. I can't help but notice these are the most generic left-wing talking points about transgenders and Palestinians. Need I point out the fact that a transgender person in Gaza would probably be murdered? But besides that, what does she need notes for? She's holding a sheet. I could tell you Rachel Maddow's talking points without a piece of paper.
I love that this guy probably spent a lot of time writing his vows, coming up with very lovey-dovey phrases. And in her speech, it has genocide and demonization.
Wait, what if his speech is like, all right, she got to talk about what she wanted. I just want to say I hope Manchester United beats the spread. We really hope this year that the London Soccer Club goes all the way to the Premier League finals. Like,
no, you know she pegs him with the strap on, Kenny, 1,000,000%.
For sure. This poor guy. And then obviously you can't help but notice the wedding party. He's grinning a little bit, but like...
I was going to do a mic drop, and then I asked George, and George said the mics cost £5,000, so I'm not going to do that. So yeah, in short, I love Matthew.
You know, on their honeymoon, you know on their honeymoon tonight, first words out of his mouth are going to be permission to touch you.
You're listening to Kenny Webster's Pursuit of Happiness, where everyone is welcome, even scum-sucking, maggot-swallowing socialist bastards you used to refer to as Mom.
All right, we're in between radio segments right now. Jesse, I need to queue up our next segment.
All right.
Would you, while I'm doing that, would you tell us about Saturday night and how to get
Saturday
tickets
night,
for
Waco Hippodrome. If you're in Waco, Texas, I've sold this venue out 3 times that I've performed there. We're doing couples therapy, relationship comedy show. It's a perfect date night, guys. If you have a girlfriend, a wife, a side chick, bring them all. Heck, let's make it a party. It's not a Coldplay concert. We don't even have a Jumbotron. You're not going to get in trouble, but it is going to be a party. Fellas, this is a perfect date night. And in fact, I've been doing this show for 3 years. And my whole goal for doing this show is to make sure that every guy that comes to the show gets some after the show. Kenny, that's what we dedicate the entire show to. And in fact, we're so good at our jobs that we offer a 100% money back guarantee that if you do not get any action after the show from your girl or your wife that you bring, me and Kenny are staying at the Hampton. Come by and see us. We'll take care of it. And that don't make us gay. That makes us capitalists.
That doesn't make us gay. It makes us capitalists. Well, thank you for explaining that to us. All right, everybody, stand by. We're going back on the radio. Hold on, everybody. All right, this is great news, guys. Delegates from Israel and Hamas have begun direct talks in Egypt right now to figure out how to get a peace deal. And they're expected to hammer out the peace deal sometime in the next 5 to 10,000 years, I got to assume. Any day now. It's really great. Jesse, I don't opine a lot about Israel. I don't have a lot of opinions about it. I've never been there. Anytime I think that, like, the Israel guys are making a good point, Someone from the Hamas or Palestine side will be like, look at all these dead children. I'm like, and look at how much money this war is costing us. I'm like, yeah, you have a good point. And then they'll be like, and look at how much we hate the Jews. And I'm like, see, now I'm back to the other side. It's like, both sides, I think, take it too far every time. And somehow this has found its way to the speculation about how Charlie Kirk was murdered.
Yeah, I'm way less informed than you are on that, Kenny. I feel like with, we have homeless veterans and all this stuff over here that my bandwidth for compassion for other countries is almost nil.
There is me too. I don't give a damn about Russia, Ukraine. I don't actually care that much about Israel. I'm sorry, Israel. I don't care that much about Palestine. I'm sorry, I don't. I've never been there. I don't really know anyone from there. I'm sorry. I think Israel seems more like our country. I think that seems like a country where they have technology and running water and secular-ish society. You could be gay or a Jew or an Arab or a Christian, but I still don't care that much. I'm sorry. I just don't. And earlier this morning on our morning show, we were talking about the Charlie Kirk thing because some of our listeners, well, Candace Owens thinks that it was like an inside job or Israel did it or I don't know. I won't pretend that I've spent a lot of time watching Candace Owens' show. I can't watch all the shows. I can't. But I know this is really important to some people because either, much like Israel and Palestine, they're either really passionately in favor of Candace Owens or they really hate her. So I asked you guys, the listeners, in a poll that I did earlier today. Our humble little radio show has been getting a lot of emails about Candace Owens theories regarding Charlie Kirk this morning. And I asked, is she crazy or is she onto something? And this is actually... Usually you poll our audience on something, if it's political, they all have the same answer.
Right. This is pretty split.
It's not like I'm asking, what do you like more, jalapeno sausage or ribs? That could go either way. I'm asking you, do you think Candace Owens onto something here? Roughly 2/3 of you think she's crazy, and 1/3 of you think that she's onto something. And so what is she onto? A couple of theories that she's laid out for us. Candace Owens just revealed that 24 hours before Charlie Kirk was murdered, he messaged people that he thought he was going to be killed. And I am told that a producer from his show has actually, one of his close friends has said that what Candace Owens is saying is technically true. Let's watch a little of it.
One more thing rather explosively. 3 people told me off record. 2 people who have this in a written communication from Charlie. One who is a Turning Point USA donor, and I would say very much one of the white knights in this. The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed. He told these people, I think they're going to kill me. Okay. He did not express that to me. So I am telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people. And I am saying this because I hope that these people who I think are good will be inspired to come forward with that. Now, again, those conversations I had were off record. I honor that. If I say it's off record, it stays off record. But I'm hoping that watching what I am doing and feeling the energy that is rising across the world for people who want to know what the heck happened on 9/10, that, they will be brave and they will say, yeah, Charlie did the day before he died think that he was going to be killed, and maybe tell us, who is they? Well, for once and for all, who is they? Who is the they that he thought were going to kill him?
All right, I don't know if you know this or not, but on the internet, when people say they, Jesse, they are normally talking about the Jays. And I don't know if you are familiar with the Jays. Maybe you know who the Jays. Yeah. Guys, I got to tell you, I'm willing to listen to any crazy theory. I can remember 15 years ago, if you told people there was an island in the middle of the Caribbean where billionaires go to rape children, people would not have believed you. And now everybody knows that that's true. What you just watched.
Yeah, there's just not a list for it.
Well, okay, fair. Yeah, there's no. Yes.
But it exists.
Well, you're onto something. All right, you just watched that. I believe that what she is saying could probably be true. I'll start with that. I don't think that that's the craziest theory. That he said someone might want to kill him, because probably somebody did want to kill him.
So I'll say this. I've opened for on stage doing stand-up comedy for Steven Crowder. Everybody knows he did a similar platform to Charlie Kirk, and Steven Crowder had the tightest security of any live show I've ever performed at. I couldn't bring an opener. I couldn't bring somebody to sell merch. I couldn't bring my own security. I had to walk through a metal detector, and Steven Crowder wore a bulletproof vest while on stage at the Addison Improv, and I was there to witness that personally. So I know these guys do get wild threats. So just from my own personal experience, I don't think this is too far-fetched, that he was threatened. No.
Okay, but all that being said, self-fulfilling prophecies, law of attraction, pragmatism, speech act theory. If you talk about something enough, there's, especially for a guy that talks all the time, constantly, because you talk for a living, I talk for a living. Eventually, statistically speaking, you are likely to talk about something that's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Like Alex Jones predicted 9/11, they say, and then it's like, well, yeah, he may have been onto something. He may have. Did he actually know? Was he a psychic, or was he just talking so frequently that he stumbled onto something that accidentally ended up, or that not accidentally, but that actually did end up happening, even if he didn't know about it? There's something to be said for that.
No, there is too, and that reminds me, I wanted to talk to you about Instagram models showing up at my house unsolicited, Kenny. I think Instagram models need to come over and see me, and if we could just have more Instagram models that came and saw me, I think I would be happy if Instagram model. I don't know. I think I'm just trying to speak it into existence.
I get what you're saying. I'm so sick of people walking up to me on the street trying to force me to take $20 bills from them. If everyone could. All right. There's another clip that a lot of people have been reacting to. Candace Owens says that Charlie Kirk came to her in a dream. Now, this is the thing people have been playing to suggest she's crazy. And to be fair, like I just made that point, if you say enough things, you eventually stumble onto something. If you say enough things, you can isolate a soundbite to make someone sound crazy. I'm trying to be objective here. I'm trying to consider that she could be right or wrong, because I frankly don't know. I lean on the side of, I don't know. I lean on the side of, I think the FBI investigation's probably true. I think there probably was this guy named Tyler Robinson who was into trannies, and he was mad at Charlie Kirk, and he climbed up on, and he took his dad's gun. I think there's a lot of evidence and video, witnesses. I think there's a lot of that, but I don't know. I wasn't there. I do know that when Candace said this got the people that don't like her to go crazy.
Like I just said, had a vivid dream this weekend, and Charlie came to me and he told me that he was betrayed. And so for me, you don't have to believe that, but I do believe that. And it was the immediate sense I got, actually. And I don't know who exactly it is that betrayed him, but I also felt in the dream that it is soon going to be revealed, that it's actually inevitable that it is going to be revealed, that there is nothing and no one that is going to stop the truth from coming out, and it is going to have international consequences. Take that to the bank. Quote me on that.
All right, I will tell you, I am somebody who also talks a little too much about my dreams. I go to church. I constantly see coincidences as being more than a coincidence, a divine intervention. And when I say this to my friends, they all think I'm nuts, and I probably am. Is Candace Owens nuts? Do you think that's crazy? Did Charlie Kirk come to her in a dream?
I think the reality part of it for me is tough to conceptualize, that something like that is just that weird. The comedian side of me can't listen to the rest of the speech when she leads with, "He came to me in a dream."
Okay, so to your point, it is a little
Sorry.
It's okay. For those that don't know, Jesse is a comic that works blue, if you know what that means. But all right, we'll leave that one alone. She also made a point recently that in her research, she thought that there was a killer bee death cult, a communist bee worshipping cult, maybe somewhere out in Utah, that had something to do with it.
And I did just a cursory online search, and some messages I found, which were not written by a teacher at the school, but someone who was adjacent to some teachers at the school, gave me pause for concern. In fact, explicitly what it was a Polish underground symbol, like a Polish communist underground symbol that nobody would have recognized outside of people who know what it meant. And I just sort of went, okay, that's weird. I kept looking online, and strangely, I'm not kidding, and I'm going to show you these messages, I came across what looked to me like a bunch of people talking about bees. You're going, "Case, like literally bees," in a way that the only way I can describe it to you is like they were speaking about bees, but they weren't speaking about bees. It was very coded. And I'm going, am I going crazy? Or do you think that all these people are really actually, quote unquote, bee farmers, or saying that they farm bees? What is this lingo that I'm not understanding? Why do I feel like it's related to students? I didn't feel good about it at all. And I just sensed that we needed to get more involved.
I'm going to pause it right here. Could she be crazy, or could she be onto something? It is possible both are true. It is completely. I don't want to. I've always liked Candace. Like I've always liked Kanye West. I know he's crazy. She probably is a little crazy too. Sometimes crazy people are onto something. I have no idea if she's onto anything. Usually when I do a rant on this show, when I do a segment or interview someone, I'm building it up so I can make a point because I conclusively think they're right or wrong. I lean on the side here of Candace Owens is. It's hard for me to believe some of this stuff. But on the other hand, I know that our audience has been emailing us about this all day long. And every 2 or 3 emails is saying, yeah, Candace is bat soup crazy. Don't believe her. And then the third or fourth one is like, what do you guys work for Israel? Why don't you guys love Charlie Kirk? Like
she's not bat soup crazy. She's bee soup crazy. I'm in the same side with you, Kenny, 100%. I make room for both. I don't think anything that she's saying is baseless and unfounded, but I do think that there's a lot of wild accusations in there. A lot of far leaps and big bridges to gap.
I guess I'll leave with this before we go to break because we still got one more segment in the show to do. I cannot get over the fact that we're a month out from Charlie Kirk's death, and with every day that passes, there is more and more speculation that the real narrative isn't true on our side, while on the opposite side, it's become more normalized to celebrate the fact that he died. The guy died doing what every comedian, every liberal political pundit, every politician, every educator in America is trying to do every day, is have a polite, honest discussion. And sadly, every day that passes since Charlie Kirk's death, we get further and further away from the point that I think we all universally understood about what was so horrific and bothersome about this whole thing. Even the wife of South Park creator Trey Parker seemed to be bothered by it enough that she posted stuff about it on her own private social media account on Instagram. And South Park's one of the groups of people that got blamed for his death.
Yeah, I think he was revolutionary, Kenny, because I'm not the most religious, person. You know that.
No.
But I only follow 40 people on Instagram. Charlie Kirk was 3 of them. I consume more Charlie Kirk content on social media than everything else combined. And when I would catch overly religious, overly, preachy reels on social media, I immediately scroll. They're not in my algorithm, but I would listen to every word Charlie Kirk would say, like bated breath, edge of my seat. And he was what I think the instrument that God wanted you to be, and to preach the word, and to make somebody who actively turned it away openly listen and make room for it. Charlie Kirk was special, man. I cried when he died. It was, it was terrible. And I don't think, so of course I'm going to be more impacted by people making fun of it because it was somebody I was pretty close to.
Yeah.
In that regard.
I still lean on the side of you can make fun of anything you want, but let's just leave Charlie Kirk alone for a little while. Right. Could everybody do that? All right, quick break. We'll be back to talk about drag queens and educators having sex with their students.
Coming up, more Kenny Webster's Pursuit of Happiness. A safe space for those who love liberty and try not to take themselves too seriously, even if your name is Karen.
All right, we are in commercial break right now. And while we are, Jesse, would you tell us again about Waco on Saturday
Waco,
night?
Kenny, I'm so excited to be back at the Hippodrome Theater, man. And I've done couples therapy 2 times. Both times we've sold it out. There are a few tickets still available, so get them now if you're in Waco, you want to come see me. And I'm so excited to have Kenny Webster with me doing the new and improved version of couples therapy. It's a relationship comedy show. Guys, this is a perfect date night. Ladies, get your husband to bring you to the show. It's such a good time. It's at the world-famous Waco Hippodrome, and we've got, several hundred pre-sold, so get your tickets quick. It's going to be a fun night you do not want to miss.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It is new and improved. We got an all-new formula. We took out the fluoride and the aspartame, and hardly anybody gets autism anymore.
That's it. We left the Tylenol, though.
Yeah, obviously. All right, stand by. We're going back on the air. All right. Airheads, the Candy Airheads, has unveiled a child-sized robot that adults can now use as an excuse to go trick-or-treating. I'm sorry, I should have started that off with this. Hey, creeps, Airheads has unveiled a child-sized adult robot. What kind of weirdo buys a child-sized adult robot? A horrible person, right? The worst people on earth, I gotta think.
I think if you buy that, they need to do a check your IP address and have the feds come look at all your hard drives.
I remember several years ago, somebody was trying to pass a law to make it illegal to buy a child-sized sex doll. And my first instinct is like, yeah, obviously you shouldn't be allowed to have a sex doll that's a child size. That's creepy. That should be illegal. You shouldn't be able to do that. And then as an afterthought, it's like, well, wait a second. If we could legally sell these things, is that how we find all the pedophiles? Nobody's going to buy this. That's not a sex monster, right? Is that just going to make the FBI's job easier? Jesse, your thoughts?
I mean, my honest thought, Kenny, is to 100% sell those, because I think if it's one person uses that instead of actually performing that terrible act on a real child, I mean,
there's that too.
I mean, that's just, where my head goes for it. But I have a different, philosophy on that.
How about death penalty for repeat child sex offenders? Is that okay?
How about not repeat, but if you touch a kid, you get dragged in public, we put it on pay-per-view and use the money for the victims. I'll subscribe.
I have said for years I want pay-per-view death row. I
love it.
I would love to watch that, and Donald Trump, maybe as one of the last things you do as you go out the door is create the Trump TV network with live televised executions for child molesters. I would watch that on TV.
Yeah, if Paramount will buy the UFC for $700 million, then sure. I'll definitely subscribe to that.
All right, I'm talking about found guilty repeat offenders. That's what I'm talking about. That's my opinion. Now, with all that being said, we have this today. A former Randolph County teacher cheer coach has been indicted for sex with a student. It has happened once again. Her name is Michaela Caldwell Hodgins. She is 32 years of age. She was arrested and ordered a $30,000 bond. Apparently, she had sex with a male student under the age of 19. So it sounds like he was in high school. It doesn't make it okay.
It makes it awesome. Sorry.
Well, South Park we were just talking about South Park.
Yeah.
South Park did a whole episode about that. If it's a little girl and an adult man,
it's deplorable, and you deserve the death penalty.
And then when it's an adult woman and a little boy,
he should be the captain of the football team, the wrestling team, and the baseball team.
That's exactly how they
homecoming king.
Every cop is like,
yes.
Nice.
I think he should be honorary valedictorian, Kenny. Good for you.
Well, it's the same thing with stalkers. If a man is stalking a woman and the woman goes to the police take it very seriously. Everybody paperwork, they'll send the cops out, they investigate immediately. If a guy goes to the police and he says he's being stalked by a woman, much less a mildly attractive woman, police don't really take it that seriously, unfortunately. I can't tell you how I know this, but I know it's true. It's a long story, but that tends to be the case, unfortunately.
Indeed.
It's very sad. We treat men and women differently in society, Jesse, and you're a man. How do you feel about that?
I've had stalkers, so I totally get it. I didn't really feel a physical threat. It was just kind of an inconvenience and an annoyance. But it's wild how many of these accusations we hear about these high school 14-year-old boys sleeping with these super smoking hot teachers. We didn't hear about it when I was a kid. You know why, Kenny? Because in the 80s, baby could keep a secret. All right? That's what it was. All these little snitches are running around. You know what we did? We banged the biology teacher. We shut our mouth, Kenny. That's what we did.
Jesse Peyton, everybody. Jesse, I have to point out here, this happened in Alabama. It was a cheer coach in Alabama. Do you think this is more common in certain parts of the country?
I think in Alabama, the rates of teacher to student sex cases are higher because of homeschooling in Alabama, Kenny.
Is that what, thank you, Jesse Peyton. All right, let's go from that to this. While we're on the topic of pederasses, the thing that they say never happens has once again happened. Boy, there seems to be a lot of examples of this. Here we have a case out of Phoenix. A drag queen performer at Pride, a prominent Arizona drag queen, has been arrested and charged with having sex with a 13-year-old boy whom he met via a dating app. Michael Browder, age 35, is a drag queen performer who goes by the name Aubrey Galici and has appeared at Phoenix Pride Festival, considered to be a star in the community there, admitted to having sex with a little boy, told investigators he thought the boy was 18 or 19. The 13-year-old told investigators he posed as an 18-year-old on an online dating site and then arranged to meet the two men. The boy told police he didn't know the identities of the two men he met online, but investigators recovered one of the chats from his laptop and identified Browder as a Phoenix drag queen. Browder was interviewed, allegedly admitted to meeting and having sex with the victim, told police he was under the impression the person was 18 or 19. Still doesn't make it okay. Why are you laughing? What?
I sorry. I do not want to make light of a child being victimized in this situation.
Obviously
but
not.
I think the misguidance or the misperception on both sides. Like I just picture the meeting, and then the chick transvestite lady thing is like, you're 13. I thought you said you were 18. And then the 13-year-old's like, yeah, you told me you were a girl. You have a penis. So, how do you think I feel? I'm a double victim. Like I'm a child. Not only are you an adult, but you're a dude. Gross.
But you're right. There is a lot of dishonesty going on.
You know,
here.
which is crazy this league, because if I'm that 13-year-old boy, I'm going back and telling no one.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Dude, I got catfished. Was it a grown-up? Yeah. And she was a dude.
One of the worst things about this is there is a news story like this every day.
Every day.
Every time we think, all right, now this is going to stop. And I always wonder, did social media make it worse or did it make it better? Or
it made it more visible, Kenny, because what happens is I argue with liberals all day. It's like sport and it's like a full-time job. And I do it on social media, mainly Facebook. Go to Jesse Peyton Comedy and you can see it. However, liberals always say the same thing. They say trannies aren't going in to the bathrooms to do this because trannies aren't messing with kids. And that's all they do. And every day, Kenny, there's a case of it.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
It is disgusting, Jesse. I think we agree on that. We agree, at least as bizarre as this broadcast has been this afternoon, I guess a couple things we agree on. It's not okay to kill Charlie Kirk and do not have sex with kids. That's two things that we have established on this show today that we all universally agree on. I want to read some comments before we get out of here because I know we covered some controversial topics this afternoon. It's a little touchy, and I just want to get some stuff, clear the air here. One of our listeners made a great point about Candace Owens. Let me see if I can find it here. It is possible. Ashley says it is possible. Part of the reason Candace Owens sounds crazy is because her friend was murdered, and I actually think that's a good point there.
Very much so. Yeah, because when it hits that close to home, the wild conceptions and misconceptions that we make are very far-fetched, and we start grasping for straws, and you make room for a lot of things that may not otherwise be there.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, it's true. Look, death in my family made me say some things that may have sounded crazy to others. They didn't sound crazy in my head. Let's see. Alan says, remember it or not, you are paranoid, but are you paranoid enough? Asks. Are we being paranoid enough? What do you think?
I don't think being too paranoid is a problem with especially how weird things are getting now. Because if you were to go back and tell our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents what a world we're in now, they would have been way more paranoid knowing it led to this. So I like to err on the side of caution, Kenny. That's just me.
I mean, there's something to be said about that. Linda says that this news story about the teacher proves her point that not all teachers are good. That's a important thing to bring up. We make this mistake in society of saying that teachers, doctors, and military generals are usually good ideas and trusted members of authority, but my experience in life has not been that. There's plenty of bad doctors, there are bad generals, and Mark Milley said he would warn China if Trump was going to declare war. And then you got teachers like this constantly having sex with kids all the time. What's a position in society that you think gets more respect than it deserves?
Oh, wow. Everything on the left.
Everything the liberals hold sacred.
Everything woke. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Victim culture is what I hate, Kenny. That's the main thing that I think we give too much validation to, because people grasp for struggle, and where we used to ostracize and ridicule for struggle, now we give adulation and applause for it. And I think that's people reach and they don't. And what that really does is it takes away from real victimhood for real things that are going on.
So. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Every time you cry racism and it's not racist, you're marginalizing victims of actual racism. Every time you wrongly accuse a guy of sexual assault, you're making it harder for a real victim of sexual assault to be taken seriously.
Agreed.
That over and over again.
When you say things like mathematics and proper education and proper speech are racist, when real racism does happen, we dismiss it because everything you're trying to use this big umbrella of it, and it's retarded.
Right. So, well, it's true. Every time we blame the Jews for some conspiracy theory they weren't responsible for, it takes away the attention we should have given to blame the Jews for screwing up the Clippers starting lineup. I think we all agree on
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to run. I know a lot of touchy topics today this afternoon, but we love you all and we love everyone. I love the Jews. I love the trans. I love Candace Owens, everybody out there.
I do want to say this. I'm a pretty edgy comic. I know this is a conservative talk radio show. I'm a stand-up comedian. And if I said anything tonight that offended you, I'm sorry that your parents raised a sissy.
That's right. I'm sorry your parents weren't qualified to raise a normal child. All that being said, Waco, we'll be there this Saturday night if this broadcast didn't offend you too much. Come hang out with us on Saturday night at the Waco Hippodrome. Tickets are available at jessieisfunny.com. That's going to be a ton of fun. Tell your friends, bring your wife, bring your kids, bring everybody out. It's going to be, well, not kids.
Not kids. Do not bring your children.
Bring your adult kids. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Yes.
You are listening to the Pursuit of Happiness Radio. Tell the government to kiss your ass.